Hello and welcome to another episode of Gigsy Creator Central. I'm your host, Arvind. I know Vikram is not the lovely person you're seeing on screen right now. He is hiding without his video turned on. That is actually one of our creators, Garima. So, hi, Garima. Happy to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about something really interesting. It's all about business models. Now, when it comes to creators, we come in many shapes, sizes, and forms. And the way we make money are essentially infinite. There's pretty much there's anything that you want to do, you could go ahead and do that, and somebody will be out there who's willing to pay for it. That being said, for a creator to have some sort of a scaffolding, some sort of an idea as to, hey, A, B, C, D are the different options that I can consider. It's I found it to be that, for many creators, that's a very helpful thing to have. It really kickstarts and gets jumpstarts the whole thinking process about, hey, as a creator, how can I go ahead and start making money, right? So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today, right? So okay, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be, along with Vikram, we're going to be discussing a number of different business models that you can use to go ahead and start on your monetization journey, so to speak. And there are about 10 of them, and we will go through each one of them. And I'm going to start off with the first one, which is everyone's favorite, right? And that is the teacher. Many of you know many teachers. Hopefully, all of you have gone to school or some sort of an education system where this person who is positioning themselves as a teacher is usually focused on some sort of skill building, right? So, if you, as a creator, want to make money by being like a teacher, what you got to do is you have to do that research, right? You have to figure out those specific topics, and you have to figure out what are the different ways that your customers what are the different ways that you can solve problems for your customers, right? So instead of you doing the work yourself, or you writing out a book, or building out like an entire company to do this, what you're doing is you're using a whole host of other tools and digital artifacts, right? You can use your ebooks, you can use your courses, subscriptions, you can use all of those. And what you're trying to do is you'll find a problem that your customer would have, and you teach them, hey, this is how you solve the problem, right? Vikram, what do you have to add for the teacher's archetype, if you will?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most, and I'm saying this with complete respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important roles, but at the same time, very common as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about being a little more tactical than usual. It's about trying to teach someone a new skill. So, for instance, if I'm here and I'm a guitar player, I will basically teach you how to play the guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is an outcome, it's tactical, and ultimately I'll help you solve a problem,
Right.
which is in terms of playing a guitar, right?
Mm. That's interesting. So if a creator does want to be a teacher, right, then how do they solve that problem? I think that essentially comes down to positioning, right? The imposter syndrome is something that's very common. Like just taking your own example, right? If you are a guitar player and if I was a guitar player, both of us wanted to teach everybody how to play Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, then what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to say, like, well, Vikram's already there. He's already gone ahead and built this course or built this thing, and why should I do this? Or maybe like, well, I don't know as much as, let's say, Stevie Y. I don't know how do you say that. So then why should I bother teaching as well? One thing that I have discovered while coaching many people through this is that inner voice that's saying that you're not ready for this is known as the imposter syndrome, where you feel that you're not good enough to teach this, you're not ready for it yet. Well, the short answer is, if everybody thought like that, then we would just have like one brand of cars or one brand of TVs, and we probably have like just one brand of clothes, right? Because it's already been done before. What really helps is how you can twist, how you can position what you're doing in a way that's different. See, quite simply put, the kind of life that I've had and the kind of life that Vikram's had is, well, they're very different, right? And what as a result, our perspective on these things are going to be different as well. Basis our experience, things are going to be different as well, right? And when we take this unique perspective that we have on things, and then we put it to our teaching approach, that's when the real stuff starts to shine. And that's a really, really good place to be as well, right? Because you're suddenly thinking as, how can I go ahead and teach the same thing, which could be like playing the guitar, it could be teaching how to coach yourself through difficult times, all of these things. How is it that I can do it with my own spin? So that's the first way that you as a creator can start making money as well on the platform. Right now, that's the first one. That was the teacher. The second way that a creator can actually go for, and this is one of my favorites, by the way, can go ahead and make like, look at it as a business model, is being a thought leader. Okay, now in B2B circles and business circles and all that, thought leadership is like a very, very hot buzzword, and it's probably being done to death as well, right? But the idea is very simple. As a thought leader, what you're trying to do is you find certain ideas, yeah, usually from other places, and you want to introduce them into a new field, right? So speaking of guitars again, there is, what's that guy's name, Luca Straganoli, I think it's his name, and there's Alexander Misko, right? So what they do, yeah, go ahead, Vikram.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Where would you classify Jordan Peterson? Would he be a thought leader?
I have no clue who Jordan Peterson is
Oh
in
my
this
God, you should
context.
check his videos out. You should check his videos out.
I will.
But yeah.
But going back to, like Alexander Misko and this thing. Now, Alexander Misko, I'm just going to take him for example. You should check out his YouTube channel. He plays the guitar, right? But he also used the guitar as a percussion instrument. He makes it to create all sorts of weird, unique sounds that are very, very rarely seen, right? Like he plucks a chord and then, he tweaks the thing. I don't know what you call it, the twisting thing at the neck of the guitar, so that the tension of the string changes, and therefore the sound that comes up itself is very different. So that is playing a guitar, but he's also like bringing in like a new way of doing things, right? So that's something that really helps out as well. So that's kind of what you do as a thought leader, right? Like you bring in new research, you get new ideas. It doesn't have to be just for guitar playing, right? I mean, that's obviously a new technique to play or something, but you could also look at new ways to draw stuff. That's what this drawbox.com, right? Somebody who was teaching other people how to draw. Well, they essentially started teaching the whole constructionist or constructionist. I don't know how do you say it, but then how do you like break up a complex thing into smaller shapes, and then how do you begin to draw? So they started teaching that with drawbox.com. That actually started on Reddit, by the way. So when you have somebody right who's coming up with this sort of a new idea, then you really want to go ahead and really, really drive that whole idea. For me, what I've done is, this is the kind of stuff that I like to do for my own thing on Gigsy. What I've been doing is I've introduced a new approach to personal transformation, right? It's called the Epic Transformation Map. And that consists of like a 4-phase thing that people will have to go through to have like proper transformations. I also know of another thing, like again, like with another company called Put the Player First. Same thing. There's an entire process that people will need to follow to go through this. When you're looking at this thought leadership thing, it can be quite scary, and you would be quite alone as well, in the sense that you are introducing a new concept, right? So that makes things quite difficult. But you persevere, you're in a category of one. What do you think, Vikram, about being a thought leader, and how can a creator leverage this being a thought leader as a viable business model?
Just in terms of spreading ideas and spreading new research, I think the reason I picked up Jordan Peterson is because he can be quite brazen. Sometimes he used to have a Patreon account, and he is a clinical psychologist and a professor. And he has these very strong views on patriarchy, on feminism, and all of these things across the board, right? So I would think that he would be coming from a perspective of thought leadership, in that he's trying to challenge an existing system. And, I do not have an opinion on whether he is right or he's wrong. It doesn't matter. But just when you said thought leader, I have seen him go to interviews and actually tear down the interviewer in a lot of ways by going down to facts and basically demythifying or, completely tearing down the assumptions of certain people when they make certain statements, just through facts and nothing else, plain Jane facts, right? And I believe that him being a thought leader is primarily coming from the fact that he sticks to a certain point of view, and he's not afraid to talk about it. He's not afraid to share facts to support it. And I believe the popularity that he has even today, and I think he's suffering from some sort of a disease right now, and he's not very active, but the popularity that he has even today is primarily because of the fact that he decided to go against a popular, theory, and basically got a lot of people as a result to sort of start following him on YouTube as well as Patreon. And over a period of time, he even left Patreon because Patreon was not working for him, in the sense that Patreon actually started banning some of his videos and all of those things. So it's a pretty interesting story. I think you should definitely look it up. I actually thought you, of all people, would know Jordan Peterson, but
Interesting.
yeah,
I will definitely check out his work. While you were talking, just very quickly, this is something that we do online, guys. Checked out Wikipedia. I saw that his inspirations, his childhood inspirations, are Ayn Rand, Aldous Huxley, as well as George Orwell, three of my favorite authors. So yes, I can see where this is going. And I believe he's also written about a ongoing crisis of masculinity. Well, interesting topics. I will most certainly check it out. All right. So that was a second way that a creator can actually go ahead and start making money. The third, and this is by far like the most harrowing and the most scary thing for me personally, and that is to be a mediapreneur. A mediapreneur is somebody who creates like content in many, many different ways, and then they go ahead and then they essentially monetize it. Now, what this requires is that, and this is something that I teach in a couple of other courses. Maybe we should do this for Gigsy as well, right? You need to essentially figure out that what is your platform, right? You could be a podcaster, you could be somebody who sends out emails every day, you could be a Instagram fashionista, you could be somebody who is creating, let's say, YouTube mini series. It doesn't matter, all of these things. So you're creating content, people love your content, you're creating all of these different forms of media, right? They contain, and you build a big audience, right? Now, of course, there are many, many different ways to go ahead and build this. But what you're doing is, once you have this audience, you're going ahead and you're monetizing them, right? So you could be saying that, okay, you know what? I'm going to be taking sponsorships. Maybe I'm going to be running ads, or maybe there is sponsored product placements, right? Or there's affiliate links. Like, hey, if you go ahead and buy this microphone, which I just got and I really, really want to use and want to show off, if you buy it from the link that I sent you, you'll get it for the same price, but I'll make a little bit of extra money from my end, right? Like, it's again like sales sort of a thing. And the tricky thing to remember here is that in this situation, you are not the product, right? What you're trying to do is you're trying to make your audience, right? You have this audience that you want to give everybody access to, and then access to this audience, the attention of this audience is the thing that you sell. Vikram, what are your thoughts on this thing, on being a mediapreneur?
This is this is only my personal opinion, but just from my perspective, I think one of the biggest things about being a mediapreneur is the fact that you have a lot of tools at your disposal. And you need to be able to understand which one of those tools is actually going to work for you. And affiliates, advertising, all of these are revenue generating mechanisms, in addition to making sure that you're putting out content regularly, you're designing your own website, you're keeping everything spruced up, you're current, you're fresh, and you're basically going down the path of content churn, right? And you're being very regular. So it just depends on how you want to do this. And there are people who make a killing out of it.
They do. What's that guy? Ryan's Toy Review?
Yeah. That guy makes a killing out of it.
PewDiePie?
Yeah, 22 million USD in a year, Ryan's Toy Review on YouTube. If people don't know, I keep talking about it. So it's crazy. So you need to have a lot of perseverance to actually be a mediapreneur. And when what ties all of these different content churners together, like Arvind said, podcaster or a video guy or a blogger or anything like that, is that the source of income is varied. It could be affiliate marketing, it could be advertising, sponsorship, endorsements, donations as well, anything. So they make money from content, and their content is like the fulcrum, and around all of that is, these different ways of actually making money. So
Yeah.
yeah, so a bit of a very intense, I would
It
call it
requires a lot
intense.
of hard work.
Yeah,
I'll be
I would.
honest, man. I mean,
Yeah,
like I know this because I grew up, like, I cut my teeth in advertising and social media, right?
yeah, yeah,
There have been days when I would write like maybe 4,000 word long blog posts, and I would like
yeah,
I've done that, I think, for like 6, 7 months at a stretch or something every single day, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
every single weekday. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. Again, that's my personal thing, right? Maybe like 2019, right? Even I keep on saying this. I made like 365 videos in 365 days. The first half of the year, I made one a day, and then the second half of the year, I just made everything in a batch. And maybe making videos is a thing. Maybe running webinars like this could be your thing. Whatever it is, right? You have to figure out what is the kind of content that you actually want to create, and then you want to go forth and make that. But here's the catch, right? And I think as Vikram very, very briefly alluded to, it's got to be fresh, right? And if you look at the way, like, like, because of our like smartphones and everything else that's been, there's been a lot of stuff. Like, I just showed you a microphone as well, right? When I bought this particular microphone, it was along with the extra kit and all that, it was almost 22,000 rupees, right? And this was like what, 6 years ago. And of course, I used to do a lot of voiceover work as well. And for me to get this quality of sound, it cost me that much. But that microphone that I just showed very briefly on screen, that's like about 5,500 bucks, and the quality of that is like way better than this. So as time is progressing, the tools that we have at our disposal to create this sort of content are getting much better. Like the phone, right? Like, I think I was there. I think the only iPhone I've ever had was like the iPhone 7 or 8 or something like that. I mean, that's like ages ago, right? And at that time, I was like, oh, dude, the camera is so awesome. And I still remember that was, I think, 2017 or something. I had that. That's when I could afford it. I recorded this thing, like, I was doing this, what was that? Daddy Vlog Desi Edition. My baby girl had just been born. And, I was recording like daily videos that I have saved up somewhere on YouTube. Now, the point is this. Creating content is easy, right? The barriers to entry to this has become tremendously low. So what you need, once again, is a way for you to set yourself apart. Again, your personality can help, but that's like the bare minimum. You have to see what else that you can do to set yourself apart so that you can attract more and more creators. But because remember, you are wearing the creator hat on one end, but then on the other end, you have to think as a business owner, right? You have to find a market that's underserved, and you have to go for that as well. So you have to strike that balance. Finding humor, finding shock. There was this person, one YouTube channel I discovered today, Praveen Mohan. He talks about ancient India's technology, and he has over, I think, 800,000 YouTube followers or something, right? So that's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. My mom and dad, they follow this other kid. I forget his name, but he talks. He's from the US, and
Wait, no, not
Gee,
Dushyant Sridhar, not Dushyant Sridhar, right?
Dushyant Sridhar. I think he's the one. He's the one.
Yeah, Dushyant Sridhar is based out of India. He's not. I don't know if he was ever in the US, but he's based out of India. But
Young
his
kid. He's got a ponytail. He talks about
he
astrology.
wears specs. Don't have to
Okay.
wear
Anyway,
specs. Anyway,
point I'm trying to say is like that kid's got like videos with like millions of views, and he's again. I'm not condemning or condoning any approach. I'm just trying to say that there are just about anything that you can think of. People are there. They're making a killing out of this. One of our own creators, the doctor comedian. Why don't you talk a little bit about him, Vikram?
well, how many more times should we talk about this guy, right?
Well,
I
Dr.
mean,
Jagdish, right? I mean, he's gone ahead. He's created content as well. He's got a thriving YouTube channel.
yeah,
He's making money on that, right? So that's
and
there.
he does that every day. I mean, he is a bit of an innovator, a bit of a guy who's like a Swiss knife, has things everywhere, and keeps putting stuff out on every channel. So you see him creating content on a daily basis, and
Mm.
he's
That's
out
important.
there.
Every
Yeah,
channel. Yeah.
yeah. So he's out. I mean, I get the same stuff on WhatsApp. I see the same stuff on Facebook. I see the same stuff on YouTube, LinkedIn. he's got it everywhere. So it's interesting how he goes about his business. Yeah.
And it's quite, I just want to stress on this because, like, I think for the past 10 years or so, I've been, trying to do this whole mediapreneur thing. It takes a lot of emotional investment, right, to create content that's really good. I mean, that's true for any work of art, but you have to realize that. And if you are looking to go down this path, I would highly recommend this book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It'll give you some much needed motivation. There's also this other book called Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. It's again about how do you tackle such a massive project. So that's the thing about mediapreneurs. The fourth one is the fourth way that you as a creator can make money and have a sustainable business is by becoming a freelancer. I know it sounds very counterintuitive, but essentially what it means is you take up additional projects, right? You have a certain set of skills that somebody else would be willing to pay money for. Case in point, design, right? Design is one of the most ubiquitous skill that is being freelanced. I do voiceovers for freelance, right? I have a face that's meant for radio. I have a voice for radio as well. I put those two things together. I start doing voiceovers as a freelance. Vikram, why don't you talk a little bit about freelancing and how somebody could use Gigsy to go ahead and start doing freelancing?
Freelancing can work at different levels, and if you have a certain skill and if you're good at a certain thing, you can actually use a subscription model to get more and more people to subscribe to you on a monthly basis, right? And you could share all sorts of content. You could share webinars. You could do one-on-one interactions. You could even get people to pay you a pretty premium price for actually being someone who can consult even with a company, right? So the idea is to sort of route all of the money through a single channel. People make this mistake. They believe that if they have different sources of money coming in, it just makes it look a lot bigger, right? And that it just makes it a lot more humongous, and it gives you the feeling that, oh, you know what, I'm making money from a lot of sources, so I'm going to be fine. But if you actually have a central place from where you're actually making money, I think it's easier for you to channel all of your customers through a single place, and then your ability to scale also becomes very, very easy. And a lot of people do that by creating a single stop website, and they try to host content, but generally doesn't work out for them. And this is where Gigsy comes in. You can host content, run subscriptions, run webinars, do everything in one place and get people to pay for you, right? So this basically means that you don't really have to even go look for some other place, right? You can all do it in one single place.
Cool. All right. So that's about freelancer. Another thing that I do want to add is that look, you need to when you're trying to build up your business as a freelancer, right? You need a way to test what are the services that you're offering, a way to showcase and demonstrate that you have the skills to deliver the kind of stuff that people need, right? And also the process that you're going through, that's a very, very valuable thing. And many people don't think about that. Now, let's say as a freelancer, if I have to write a blog post, right, there will be a certain process that I can explain, I can teach to others and make money from that as well. Freelancing as a business model for a creator, whether you're creating, let's say, art, whether you create, I mean, everything is art, but whether you're creating text, audio, video, images, reports, whatever these things are, PPTs, right? Like creating presentation design is like a massive, massive, massive business. So again, all of these things can be something that you can do as a freelancer. The next one, the next model that I want to talk about for you as a creator is that of being a coach. Coaching is essentially the art of unlocking potential that's inherent in people, right? And you do that by listening to them, by asking the right questions, giving them a little bit of guidance so that they can unlock this potential for themselves. And you can be a coach in many, 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 many different fields, right? The more popular ones, the more common ones are life coaching, career coaching. That's obviously there. Relationship coaches. You have coaches who do even specifically for businesses, right? Like you have a startup coach. You have a marketing coach. Believe it or not, these are actual designations that exist. And in any of these places, what you are doing is you need to be able to do three things, right? First, you need to be able to attract the right kind of people, right? Two, you'll need to essentially retain these people's attention, right? You have to build that relationship. You have to age and ascend that relationship that you have with people. And finally, you'll need a way to monetize this relationship that you have built. That's how coaches work, right? So you could offer individual coaching, you could offer group coaching, you could offer courses, you can offer worksheets, you can offer like a weekly webinar thing. That's something that I do, right? And then you can say that if you want to join my weekly webinar, right, it's not free, it's going to be paid, and you can set up your subscription on Gigsy for that, saying that, okay, a monthly subscription of, let's say, even if it's like $300 a month, right? You're going to be giving them 4 hours of education, or maybe even 1 hour of education, doesn't matter, right? All of these are viable ways for you to go ahead and
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all
yeah.
about scale, right? It's all about trying to make sure that you're able to cater to a large audience by making common content. And if it means that you have uh, 300 rupees being charged for 100 people on a monthly basis, look at the amount of money that you can make. And if you look at it in simple US dollar terms, you're talking $3-4 a month,
Mhm.
and you're making 30,000 rupees every month as a result. So
Now that you put it like that, it's true. It's true. It's true. Yeah. So I mean, coaching is a really really cool thing, right? And in fact, our next webinar that's coming up next Thursday is about how do you actually position and build your business as a coach, like introduction to a coaching business 101, right? And I'll be honest, I'll go on record for this. There are a number of different people online teaching a number of different things, and one of the biggest scams I've seen on the internet is how do you make money uh, online? It's by teaching other people how to make money online. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Right? But anyway, next week it's going to be pretty important. And by the way, we won't be selling you anything at the end of the webinar next week as well. So it's important to realize.
yeah, we don't sell anything during any webinar.
Yeah, because it's true, right, Macha? I mean, obviously, we're doing this for creators who are here and as well as prospective creators. And the way Gixie makes money is when you make money, right? We take a percentage cut. And how do I say this? This is us putting our money where our mouth is, right? We believe in this stuff. Like you and I, Vikram, right? We use the Gixie platform to make our own money.
Dog fooding.
Dog fooding, that's the right term. All right. That was number 6. So sorry, that was number 5. Number 6 are this is what most creators, like when we look at musicians and artists and what are those people called, the ones who work with pottery and all that, sculptors, that's the word I was looking for, sculptors and all that, what they talk about, or musicians, right, like singers and drummers, they actually create something, right? So they are the quintessential artist. So when you are creating something that looks pretty, that sounds good, that smells good, whatever the thing is, right? Whatever is your chosen medium, you're creating that work of art. And what you can do is you can actually create these works of art, and then you can go ahead and sell. Now, here's the thing, okay? Maybe I think Vikram is better suited to talk about the artist's mindset and how you can go ahead and make money, because I'm the only kind of art that I do is like storytelling, especially for Dungeons and Dragons. So I don't know how closely that relates, but Vikram, why don't you talk a little bit about, the artist and how Gixie can help?
I would actually like Garima to say a few words here because she is a very good designer and she does a lot of paper jewelry. So I think that falls right in her alley. So I will also talk, but
Mm-hmm.
I would rather let her also say a
Certainly.
few words. Yeah.
Vikram, for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, my video also is like not opening. Anyways, no
Okay.
worries.
No worries. We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm a life coach too. Right now,
Very nice.
yeah, as you said that we are like searching for how to make money. I just found that I'm very much interested in art and craft and all that. So yeah, Jixi gave me a very good platform. I'm really very happy where I can exhibit my things, and I'm getting a lot more opportunities, and I'm just working on that. Moreover, I'm working on the healing earth, as I told even previously.
Mm-hmm.
Healing earth is the concept where I want to like tell people that we all human beings, we don't have patience to wait.
Mm-hmm.
We just want everything instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be food, let it be money, let it be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, earth heals by itself, animals heal by themselves, nature heals by themselves, but why don't we? So that was the main concept. And during this COVID, I really made a study on that. I was studying about vibrations and so many things. And you won't believe, I'm able to attract money just like a magnet now.
Are you serious? This is good news.
100%.
Can you please give us a little bit
100%.
of credit at Gigsy, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure, sure. So
Right.
really, I'm like, I quit my job, and my friends literally they were scolding me, saying, "Garima, during this COVID, how can you take such a big step?
Hmm.
Even though knowing that you're the breadwinner of the family, how can you take such a big risk? Have you
It's
planned your
impressive.
finances?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, I did not plan anything."
Mm-hmm.
Literally, they were saying that you are a big fool, you cannot do this. I said, "Okay, fine, whatever my heart says, I'll follow."
Fair enough. Fair
And yeah,
enough.
I'm really happy taking such a decision, and I'm working on that. And
Awesome.
yeah, I found multiple ways, and I'm working
Mm-hmm.
on that, and I'm helping out even the students. Like I was working in Chaitanya as a counselor, so I have few students who are who's like having only one parent,
Mm-hmm.
father have passed away or something like that. Even I'm helping them to make money. They're also very
Interesting.
happy with that.
Very cool. Interesting. Thank you for
Over
sharing,
to you,
Garima.
Vikram.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Oops, did I hear
Uh,
someone? Yeah.
I thought I heard someone too, but
No,
anyway,
it was my
please.
kid instructing
Aha,
me,
okay.
Mama, press Alt and this, your video will come.
Oh, wow.
Okay. There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
sorry, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi.
Thank you, little man. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right,
All
Vikram, you were
right.
talking about the artists and
Yeah. So, one of the things that we used to do as musicians back in the day was during the days of CDs and DVDs and everything else, we used to
mhm,
actually sell our CDs during gigs, right? And we would be playing a gig and we would, towards the end, say, hey, you know what? We've got a bunch of our CDs backstage if you want to come and hang with us and pick up these CDs, just pay us $100 and take the CD and go home, right?
interesting.
So we used to get people to actually come and buy, and people would come and hang out with us, have a couple of drinks with us, take the CD, buy the CD from us, and go. They would actually pay $100, buy the
Hmm.
CD, and go. So now that's a good way of attracting people and building your community, also, right? Because you're
Hmm.
not only asking these people to come backstage with you, you're also at the same time making sure that you're giving them something in return. You're giving them an
Hmm.
experience, or you're giving them some sort of merchandise. So you're
Hmm.
always giving them, leaving them with some memorabilia. So when
Hmm.
that happens, there's a natural tendency for people to become part of your community. And that is how you start building community, right?
Hmm.
Communities are built through personalization, through that personal touch, making people realize that they are a lot more than, just another random person who's coming and liking your Facebook status or your
True.
YouTube status.
You
So
make it real.
absolutely, and you give that human touch. You don't uh, give people the impression that you're beyond reach.
Hmm.
You give them the impression that you're human, and you're right there, and you're just like them, right?
Hmm.
So uh, I think one of the things that really works out for direct sales in that matter used to be that, and it
Hmm.
still continues to be the case today. So, for
Hmm.
instance, I could do a one-on-one Google Meet call with someone and charge for it basis the fact that they're getting that airtime with me, right?
Hmm.
And people will be happy to pay that sort of money because they're getting that airtime with me. And
Hmm.
it's not like I'm special that they're paying for me, but they're doing it out of their own accord, right? They believe
Right.
that there is value that they can get out of it, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of these things are built on personal relationships and trust, and you slowly expand your network from there. You
Hmm.
have your N+1 networks, and then basis that you start creating more and more child nodes, so to
Hmm.
speak, and the tree expands as a result, right?
Thank
So
you. Thank you,
yeah,
Mr. Engineer.
yeah.
Building on the concept of the artist that both Vikram and Garima have shared with us, the next business model that I want to talk to you is that of the maker. Now, there is a very, very fine line of distinction between that of an artist and a maker, right? You could theoretically argue that everybody is an artist, but when you look at non-traditional media, for example, Shreya, right? She is a member of the Gigsy team, but on Gigsy, what she does is she sells her own coasters and like custom coasters. She has some custom totes. She has prints of art and stuff like that. And what's happening there is quite interesting, right? So what she's done is she's not the only one doing this. So it's almost like she's done the initial artwork and then she set up the systems so that I can scale, right? So think of it like someone who would create, let's say this, right? This is a bust of Sherlock Holmes, right? You create one of that, right? As a sculptor, you probably create that one mold, or maybe nowadays it's like a 3D printed, like a .stl file or something. And then later, what happens is, you actually set up like some sort of a fulfillment in the background, right? So it could be like this company that will do like a resin cast and then ship it to whoever needs it or stuff like that. I've done stuff like that earlier when I used to run this thing called the Way of the Octopus. What we did was we built out this thing called 50 different challenges that you can do to get out of your comfort zone. The Trials of Kokura, that's what it was called. And what happened was we built that, okay? We built it initially, but after that, right, we used to sell through our website and all that, but we wouldn't have to do anything else because the order would directly go to the back end, right? Like this other company, this printer guy, right, who would print everything and then ship it out for us. And we found that, hey, that was actually like a pretty cool thing for us to do as well. So when you're not just doing art, but when you're creating something and you're selling that, that's the distinction that I'm looking at for a maker. And on Gigsy, we have many different features available, like for your marketing as well as to sell these type of products as well, right? And of course, when you are sharing, when you're documenting this journey of whatever you're doing, right, as a creator, as a businessman, as like in Garima's case, right, the responsibility, that journey from being employed to becoming an artist, right, that's gold. Not just marketing gold, but like genuine gold, because people want that kind of stuff. So you should definitely do that. Here is another thing that you can do, right? And this is something that I've noticed, like it's very, very popular in India and abroad as well, is the concept of a curator, right? Now, personally, like I don't know if you guys saw this, but earlier when we had the "How do you make a great video at home" series, right? I had a ton of equipment that I showed off, right? I showed off my different microphones, my lights, my cameras, the software that I use, and all of that, right? So then, ideally, what I would do is right now, if I wanted to build my business model as a creator, what I could do is I'm going to be curating stuff, right? I'm going to say, like, for example, I'm going to show that big microphone. I'm going to probably do some tests. I'm going to share this sort of thing, my professional opinion on this product, and I'll share that with you. And what you do as a, as a member of my audience is like, oh, okay, you get that value, right? And eventually what I'll do is I'll make money by, one, I'll be giving you affiliate links, right? Which will make me money every time you purchase using that link. That's number one. I can get sponsorships from certain brands to endorse. For example, this mic is by Shure, SM50. I think this is Shure SM58, right? And that can, the company could say, hey, this is really cool, but why don't you try the SM57? Or maybe Rode would probably come up and say, here's a video mic. You should try that. Rode, please send me a video mic. You can actually look at all these different things that you can do to, you can curate different things. Another thing, a friend of mine, Kudmir Sayed, right? He ran this Instagram thing where he was running something called Foodoo, right? So what he would do is he would go around just trying out new food places in Mumbai, right? So eventually he got famous enough that people started inviting him. I have a Facebook group. It's called Bimbo. Biryani is my bae, okay? And we have like almost like some 400 people or something, and we just discuss different kinds of biryani. That's all we do. Right? We love biryani. This was like pre-COVID, of course. Again, I have got offers from other brands that are looking to launch biryani in Bangalore, saying like, hey, I would pay you some money to get my post in front of this audience of curated. I have an audience around biryani, okay? It doesn't get wilder than that. You can create an audience around anything. And therefore, as a creator, when you're creating content that grows this community, right? That's going to be a very, very valuable thing as well. And the final thing I want to talk about is you as a creator can just straight up, right, start selling stuff, okay? Here's what I mean, right? It's a blend of all these other things that we've spoken about, but you could start selling, let's say, tickets to an event, right? You could start putting together different experiences that other people will have to pay for. You don't have to be a specialist in any of that, okay? Case in point, I don't know much about music. I'm tone deaf. I can't hold the tune, none of that. But I would probably know how to organize a concert or a benefit gig online, right? I have a certain set of skills that I can apply. I can get people from A, from B, from C, from D to come together, and then I can market that so that I can go ahead and I can then I'll say like, hey, guess what? I have all these 5 artists coming together. Yes, Vikram Parthan is also going to be there with his sexy hair. So here are the tickets, right? So they're like what, $300 a pop, $500 a pop for this 90-minute concert. I'm organizing that. I'll take a cut. I'll be making money. I'll be sharing the rest with whoever else is coming in. So again, as a retailer, right, you're just selling stuff. You could be selling like lens card subscriptions for all I care. Doesn't matter. But you as a creator, what you're doing is you're creating new opportunities, right? So this is like hardcore. It's not just someone who is like just for an artist or just like a event manager. It's not like that. Me as somebody who appreciates music can bring this together. Now let's say, for example, Garima as a life coach, right? What if she decided, right? And Garima, I'm just picking on you because you're here. What if you decided to run or create this 3-day conference, okay, of life coaches? Maybe you get in people from IAF, maybe you get in people from Art of Living, maybe you get people from Satguru's camp, right? I don't know, Isha Foundation, right? You get all of these things. You are a life coach yourself, and then now you get them, and then you set up the tracks, right? You say like, okay, day one, first half of the thing, we're going to be talking about uh, physical healing, let's say, right? Then we're going to talk like, the second half of the day, we're going to talk about emotional healing. And then third day, we could probably go on to other kinds of healing as well. So you see what I mean, right? So this, Garima, as a life coach, this topic well, and you can bring in other kinds of people, other experts. You can get all of them under the same umbrella, and you can sell access to these people, right? So those were I think we had yep, I think we finished the entire list, Vikram. I think there were 9. I just want to very quickly run through them as a recap. We spoke about the teacher, we spoke about the thought leader, we spoke about the mediapreneur, the freelancer, the coach, the artist, the maker, the curator, and the person who sells stuff, the retailer. Go ahead, Vikram. What do you have to add? Any thoughts that are stepping up? Go ahead.
The curator was a little interesting. I could even relate to people doing reviews of phones, right? Yeah. So that's something. In fact,
and toys.
Yeah. Ryan's toy review. So one of the things that I did very recently was when my wife wanted to get rid of her phone because it wasn't working very well over the past 3-4 days, we quickly started looking up for stock Android phones on the internet. And we went to YouTube and we looked up this guy. I forget his name, but he seems to be, reviewing mobile phones on YouTube very consistently. Mm-hmm. And I watched this 10-minute video on YouTube, and next thing you know, we bought it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So
here's one thing, building on this, right? For a curator, for any of these things, right? Whether you're retailing or you're becoming a curator, number one, scratch your own itch. If there is something that you want to see that's not there, go ahead and make that. And the second thing is, if you're going to be, especially when it comes to reviews, like for example, I'm using this thing, right? I don't know what it's called, but apparently it's going to make my forearm stronger. But
it's a stress buster.
Yeah, whatever that is. So, but fair enough, stress buster, right? Now, let's say I have this. I also have like these little toys that I play around with. I would be ideally suited to review the products that I actually use, right? Now, if you suddenly ask me to review, I don't know, like a left-handed guitar, right? There's no freaking way I'm going to be able to do that, right? Not just that it requires like actual expertise to review something like that. That's one. But two, if let's say that fidget spinners, okay? I love fidget spinners. I used to have them before. But if I don't have one, or if I haven't actually used one in a long time, for me to go ahead and review them until I've actually bought it, played with it, it's going to show, right? If it's a fake review, it's going to show. And if you have that fake review, it's not necessarily going to land well. Same thing, right? You can review software, right? You have like trial modes of software. You can always do that. I'm probably one of the most, how do I say this? I know a lot about mind maps and mind mapping software and stuff like that. So now that if that was a topic that I had to review something, or if I have to review some software, like let's say Xmind versus MindNode versus Scapple versus eDrawSoft mind map, right? I could probably go ahead and do that because I know that stuff really well. But then now if I have to like review accounting software like FreshBooks versus QuickBooks versus Tally versus Google Sheet, I'm not the right guy because I don't know it well. So that's a very, very important thing. It gets very tempting because we say, oh, everybody's talking about FreshBooks, so I'm going to like write about FreshBooks. But if I haven't used the damn thing, right, it doesn't make sense. So that's there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Garima, would you have any questions for us? Or more importantly, which one of these resonate with you? You're on mute, I think. We're unable to hear you.
It was really very fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new concept, that biryani thing, and it was really.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. Biryani is my bae, okay?
I also was getting some crazy ideas. Why not to start something like that? And so I was like thinking that.
True. It actually, there was one more thing I think, Vikram, that we had in our notes that we didn't talk about, right? Like people who create software and websites and stuff like that, right? Like the engineer types, right? Yeah, stuff like us. People like us, right? Like for example, Gigsy started off like that, right? Vikram saw a potential thing that, hey, we need something like this. Let's go put that together. And then, that's how it happened. So that's a possibility as well. So
The engineer.
the engineer, yeah. Like for example, I love gamification, right? Like I build like serious games and stuff like that. I don't know, for some reason my hair is all wonky right now. But
We have finally moved away from the title of having the sexiest hair, and it goes to Arvind Sundar. Thank you.
don't. Please.
Yeah.
My hair bows in shame in front of your magnificent coiffing,
Oh,
so
Lord of the Rings.
anyway, yeah. So gamification, right? So I don't have the skills to build software, but I would probably go ahead and find a freelance team that could go ahead and build this thing for me, right? If I have a particular idea in mind. So I should write this down. Yeah. So that's there, guys. Good luck. And any given point of time, you can always write out to us. You can reach out to us, and we are always there to help. Anything to say, Vikram, before I stop recording?
hello@geeksy.in.
Yes. And you'll be getting like a ton of mails from us. You can just hit reply. We read all of them.
Yeah, Garima, please read our emails also.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.